Namaste. Welcome to Jack Colley's Black Book. This is episode 69. This is continued interpretation of the symbols that I see in the Super Bowl halftime show. This is where the divine feminine shows up in the form and the person of SZA. We left off looking at this giant plus sign, and we made the argument that this might be the Garden of Eden, in which SZA, the divine feminine, the Eve, is going to show up to help Kendrick Lamar, who is our Adam figure. But we also suggested that a more yin interpretation would be a prison. Whether you interpret this in a yin fashion or a yang fashion, this truth is about to be communicated that male needs female. And this right here is the point at which the female angels announce the arrival of the divine feminine. It's a bit of a foreshadowing, a peekaboo. And I love this part because as soon as they are done making this announcement, the God character, Samuel L. Jackson, steps in and you hear his voice saying, "Oh, you just lost your damn mind." Kendrick Lamar, as our Adam figure, is about to walk over in front of these four angels, and he's going to be considering that he really wants to sing his favorite song. When we enter this dreamlike state, Kendrick Lamar is about to lose a rib. And once Kendrick Lamar loses his rib, we have the Eve figure. We have the divine feminine showing up. So I want to interject something here, and you can tell I'm interjecting something because it's early in the morning. I've got my bathrobe on, and I've got my Jimi Hendrix t-shirt on. It strikes me that I have to clarify that there is a sophistication when I talk about the feminine and the masculine. And that sophistication goes far beyond whether or not you have an XX chromosome or an XY chromosome or any of the other sex chromosome combinations. That's a really wordy and nerdy way to say I'm talking about gay couples, non-heterosexual couples. When I was in India, I saw the Star of David. Just doing a quick search of the Star of David in India, composed of the triangle pointing up, which is the divine masculine, and the triangle pointing down, which is the divine feminine. Another symbol that might be of interest to you is the Merkaba. It seems to me that in any human relationship that is intimate in nature, there is one individual that is going to lean more feminine and one that is going to lean more masculine. And the work that each of you do to understand the other so that you can be an integrated unit is going to define the strength as you make peace with the anima and the animus. While male and female can be defined strictly biologically and genetically, it is the phenotypical expression of those genes. It is the gender expression, the social constructs. It is the interaction between masculine and feminine that really brings couples together, regardless of their biological sex. Now back to the show. Other places where we see the divine feminine symbol show up is the upside down triangle throughout this production. When you see the upside down triangle, that's the divine feminine, and the right side up triangle is the divine masculine. This is pointing to the giner, this is pointing to the Pepe, divine feminine, divine masculine. The music then slowly transitions. Kendrick Lamar and SZA are now singing this beautiful duet. They've met each other. It's almost as if they're experiencing some sort of limerence. Notice the triangle that is pointing down, and notice that this is where Kendrick Lamar and SZA are singing this duet. And when the camera zooms out, we now have this structured stage. Notice the circle that the divine feminine is pointing to has individuals in white and red, and they're alternating male and female. Up at the divine feminine symbol, females in blue, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It is right here where Kendrick Lamar breaks into a ballad of sorts, where he is reflecting on who he wants to be, who he wants to show himself to the world to be. And the difference with the Kendrick Lamar, the Adam figure, is now he is doing this having made peace with his feminine side. And when you take any man who has done his work to make peace with his feminine side, and when you take any woman who has done her work to make peace with her masculine side, you truly have a complete individual. Both of our symbols are going to move forward respectfully, being more who they have ever been. Being much more fully integrated, but not yet to the point where they are actually going to start to impact their environment. Sometimes the environment and our circumstances remind us that even though things are nice and they're flowing and there seems to be no problem, the environment, God, reminds us that we may have to get back to it and fight. And then Samuel L. Jackson shows up, and he's almost saying this with some level of sarcasm, like, oh, that's nice. That's how everybody likes it. Everything is calm. Everything is beautiful. You two are just doing wonderfully. You're getting along. And then he says, don't mess it. And then the music starts. The next episode, I hope to share just a couple more thoughts about the narrative that was played out in front of us during the Super Bowl halftime. And then I want to share from my heart my experience of watching this narrative play out in front of me when so many of my ancestors were on the side of the oppressors. Namaste, my friends.